All right, social friends. Welcome to tonight's live stream episode of Real Living in Bolingbrook. Before I bring my guest and host, actually, right? We've been doing this for so long, into tonight's live streams of virtual studio here. As you can tell, and you'll see from my host as well, we, thank God, have gotten rid of the winter gear. And I think when Greg shows up, he's gonna applause clap as well, because I think, unlike me, I'm still in long sleeves. I think he's in short sleeves. All right, Greg, let me give your fan base a nice warm welcome for you. And today it's a different fan base. So here goes, buddy. You ready? Here goes. Hang on. Let me move myself out of the way. Into the studio here. All right. 1 second while I tell the fan base, go away.
Yeah, you're right, Bill.
You got short sleeves
on. Yeah. Today was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was 60 degrees out here.
I know.
So it was gorgeous. And I was just taking a look at the weather. For the next 10 days, it's going to be fine. I mean, 32 up to 45 degrees. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say Old Man Winter is behind us, and Mr. Groundhog, no, you disagree.
Disagree. We're going to have a bad week in March, end of March. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Don't jinx it. Come on.
I see it snow in May.
Okay. Well, let me relish in what I hope is reality, which is spring is here. Winter is behind us. For today, this week, I'm going to relish in that fact. Now, because of course, your business, my business, the floodgates open up once the supposed spring of real estate season opens up, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us, Greg. Talk to us about what is happening with real estate in Greater Bolingbrook.
So the spring market really kicks off after the Super Bowl. That's when people really start kicking out for the spring. As far as inventory levels, we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in inventory. Prices are still hiking up. The median price is $370 in January.
Yeah.
That was up $5,000 only year over year, so 1.4%. Not too much. Supply is 1.7 months as opposed to a year ago is 1.3.
Okay.
So supply is increasing. And I think that, and you could probably attest to this, with the interest rates coming down a little bit, I think that as the interest rates come down, hopefully that you're going to see more and more inventory, because people won't feel that lock, and they'll feel like now they'll be able to sell and be able to buy. Even though they're buying at the top, they're also selling at the top. So I think that with the rates coming down, I think you're going to see more inventory coming on the market. The good houses are still selling fast. The ones that are doing price reductions and that are not selling, because there's a bunch of those too in Bolingbrook, the houses aren't very nice and they're overpriced. People are just throwing things, trying to get it. Buyers are savvy. Buyers know what the homes are worth, and they're not going to pay that. I listed a house this last week, and we had multiple offers, which within a couple of days, we listed it right in the range of where those houses sell in that subdivision for that square footage in a similar condition. And we let the market drive the price up. Yeah. So that's kind of key, of trying to get the most amount of money. You're not going to get more money if you overprice your home. You're just going to get less showings. It's going to sit on the market. Buyers are going to come in lower, and there's only going to be one offer. We had several that would pit against it, and that's going to drive the price up.
Well, that sounds like great, happy news for your sellers.
It's happy news for my sellers. Yeah, they're real happy with that. But Bolingbrook, all in all, there's not much room anymore to build. They're
Yeah.
almost done building the Sawgrass neighborhood, which is right off of 111. It's a Pulte builder. Those houses are selling for 8, 9. There was one that sold for over $1 million, and those are on tiny little lots,
Yeah.
like under 0.2 acres.
Yeah.
But Bolingbrook approved. This is I'm not sure how I feel about this, but Bolingbrook approved recently a 75-acre rental community.
What?
Rental.
Oh, luxury. Luxury rental?
I don't know, but there's going to be about 230 homes in this development right next to the Bolingbrook Golf Course. And it's supposed to be really nice, clubhouse, pool, that kind of stuff. So I'm sure it's going to be top dollar.
Yeah.
I totally get and I can appreciate satisfying the needs of housing. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big fan of it being rentals. I want people to own a home and build equity.
Yeah.
I don't want my son renting if he cannot do it. Try and buy something.
Yeah. True.
So,
and the key,
but it's good news for Bolingbrook.
Yeah. And the key is, we'll use Gavin simply as an example. So Gavin, if you're watching, if you're listening, yes, we're talking about you. Your dad is talking about you. And because I kind of know you, I'm jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, it makes sense. When you are ready to buy, when you feel like I'm willing to do this, the sooner you do it, the better. It's the time value of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So good to know. With what I've heard, there's a slow uptick, a slow crawl where inventory is opening up. But with the supply being like less than 2 months, it's still a seller's market, right?
It's still a seller. Again, I look at there's a bar.
Yeah.
And it has the sellers over here, buyers over here, and then a middle point, which is a balanced market, which is where we would like to be.
Yeah.
And it is a smidgen off the very edge on the left side. I mean, it's way over there.
Yeah.
So we're definitely here in Illinois. We're definitely still in a seller's market in the Chicagoland area. It's not like Florida and some of the other ones that are having a ton of inventory.
Yeah, bingo. And parts of the East Coast. I mean, I don't know if you remember this, when our federal government got doged, and a lot of those unfortunate federal government workers probably got laid off. They were in transition. I would not doubt some of them that lived in the greater DC, Maryland area were probably scratching their head thinking, I need to look up Mr. Greg Vanden Brook or your doppelganger out there and help me sell this thing. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's now move the conversation to something I think you and I get. We get these questions a lot, or sometimes it's not said, but we see it in the face.
We see it in the face.
We see it in the face. You know what I mean? All right. So let's lead off this next part of our live stream. Greg, I'm going to ask you this. Don't laugh too hard. Don't chuckle, but try to be somewhat serious. What are the top 3 questions sellers are often too afraid to ask you?
Sellers are afraid to ask. That means that they probably don't ask me too much.
But they're thinking it.
I would have to say one of which would be when I go meet with a seller.
Yeah.
And I sense that they're thinking, what's wrong with my house?
Oh, I like that. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do they say to you, if anything? And you pick up that vibe.
they usually try and gloss over things.
Okay.
Because sellers, a lot of times they get used to their situation in their
Sure.
house.
Yeah.
But I can walk into a home being an outside source like anybody could,
Right.
and you can pick out things that are just no good.
Okay.
You know, pink walls in the living room, pink
Oh, yeah.
carpeting.
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with my home? So I always make it a point that when I meet with sellers that I try not to offend them.
Smart.
But I try to point out what the general public will probably be thinking.
Yeah.
So when I go into a listing appointment, I always say that I'm going to go through your home as a buyer's agent.
Yeah. Smart.
With a buyer. And so when we go through, I'm going to be wondering, what's the leak over here from? Was it fixed?
Yeah.
Paint colors, carpeting, and those are all pretty simple, fairly inexpensive things that can be fixed.
Yeah.
And they should be fixed.
They should be, right. They should be, because you want to put on the best show to attract the most people to buy the property from you, seller. All right. What's another question that sellers are too afraid to ask you, but they're thinking it?
I would be willing to bet that a lot of sellers are thinking. So when I sit down with sellers, we look at the comparables together.
Yeah.
And we look at the photos together.
Okay.
So I bring a double screen on my computer so they can look at what I'm looking at.
Okay.
I think that a lot of people go in with expectations on what their house is worth and what they want to spend, what they want to sell it for.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to bet that a lot of sellers are thinking, am I overpricing my house? You know, in my head, am I overpricing it?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
and then they ask you, so what would you sell this home for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I usually, I'll look at the comps together and I'll say, okay, this one's it says here, new Corian countertops, new AC furnace, new roof. Yours has an older,
right.
And this one sold for 500 grand. Where do you think that your house would sell at?
Right.
And so then if they say 510, okay, what out of the comparables that we just looked at would suggest that?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times it's just kind of what I would wanted. That's what I was hoping for. And it's like,
no. That's right. It's not about you anymore, Mr. Seller. It's about what's good for the buyer. I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to drop one more question that sellers are too afraid to ask you?
What if it doesn't sell?
Oh, good one. Good one. Yeah. They're not going to ask that, but you can see it. You can feel it.
Yeah. I mean, what if we don't get a contract? What if I don't sell it?
Yeah.
That's probably, another question.
Question that, they're afraid to ask. All right. Let's now shift to the other side, the buy side, the buyers. Why don't you lead off with one of the three questions that you think buyers are too afraid to ask you?
So when I have a buyer, I have a folder, a Charles Rutenberg folder that I give them with a bunch of information in there for when you're buying a home.
Right.
And one thing that I put in there is a article on real estate buyer's remorse. Right. It's something that everybody goes through.
Right.
So I think one of the questions that I would get would be, am I making a financially bad decision buying a home?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that when you buy a home and you're in a 30-year mortgage, that you're locked in under contract for 30 years.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is you can actually sell that property in 6 months from now or a year from now, maybe even make a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
But you're never tied down to that property. A little bit more than a rental, maybe.
Yeah. True.
But you're never really tied down to that property. So people's fear of owning a house and now I'm tied down forever. No, you're not. Stay there a year, 2 years, 5 years, and sell.
Yeah. Which is why for some buyers, if they know their first home purchase is, of course, not their forever home, for some buyers, it makes sense not to sink a bunch of your cash into it. Borrow as much as you feel comfortable. So that's a strategy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I agree with you. I think when buyers are kind of afraid to ask that question and they're kind of thinking it, you feel it, it's because it's what I call the roller coaster ride of emotions, the mix of emotions, fear, anxiety, and lack of confidence. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, and what the life cycle of a buyer for this period is: you go out, you show homes, you tell them you're not buying your dream home. It's not a castle. It's 200 grand. Come on.
Right.
So then, find something that will work for the next few years. So then they find something, they put offer in, they don't get it. They put offer in, they don't get it. They put an offer in, they get it. Then they party. They go out that night, they drink, they go dancing. And then the next morning, the very next morning, they'll wake up with a pit in their stomach saying, "Oh my God, what did I do?" So I tell them that every time that I go and I have a new buyer, I say, "This is what's going to happen. Yeah. It's normal. It's just buyer's remorse."
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster ride of emotions until you finish. Yep. There you go. All right. Let me drop in the second question that I think buyers are too afraid to ask, especially the first-time buyers. And that is, what if I overpay? How's that going to hurt me? Rephrase that statement or rephrase that concern, Greg. It's kind of their way of asking, what if the property doesn't appraise? You and I know what that means, right? And you and I both know that's not altogether a bad thing, right? Unless unless the buyer was ahead of his or her skis and they wrote an offer committing to an appraisal gap. You don't want to do that, but right, okay. But
you don't want to do that unless you.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing when the property doesn't appraise. So tell us why.
So when people say, well, what if the property doesn't appraise? Good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
It's a good
thing. Just like when you get a radon test done in your house.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, I hope the radon's low. No. You hope the radon's high.
Yeah.
Because if the radon is high, they're 99% of the time you're going to get the seller to pay for a mitigation system, and you'll never have to worry about it ever again.
Yeah.
So high radon is actually what you want.
Yeah.
So it's all perspective.
Yeah, it's all perspective. I love how you said that. All right, let me drop the last one. A buyer question where they're too afraid to ask it, especially of moi, and that is, they're thinking it, and sometimes I see the look on the face, and the question is, Bill, what if I'm going to change jobs during my journey of buying a home? Right? I mean, come on,
or lose my job.
Yeah, or I lose my job. I'm sure that's happened to you, and it's happened to me, right? Okay. And so, for all of you watching, listening to tonight, hopefully you're chuckling with us. It's just a little bit of real life humor, right? For those of you buyers who are in your journey or thinking about starting your journey to buy your first home, your next home, if you may be in transition with your job, you're waiting for an offer from a new employer, not a big deal. Here is the secret. Just be open upfront with us about it so we can guide you. Don't you agree?
I do.
Yeah.
And I always say this because people have the mentality of, what if I lose my job?
Right.
Maybe I should rent. Well, here's the truth of the matter is,
Yeah.
if you're renting a place and you lose your job and you can't come up with that next month's rent, you're out on like day 5. They kick you out.
Right.
If you're in a mortgage and you hit a tight spot and you can't pay your mortgage,
right,
you could go 90 days before you're served foreclosure papers. And then half the time, the lenders don't want to foreclose. They'll work out a deal. Okay, we'll give you even one more month off. Can you start making your payments next month?
Right.
You know, they work out deals all the time.
They do.
So
they do.
I would rather be in a house and own it and lose my job than be in a rental and lose my job.
Yeah, because you and I both know, whether you're renting or whether you're owning, you're paying somebody's mortgage. You might as well be in control of your own destiny, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. So, audience members, tonight, yes, we try to make it a little bit more real life humor, and share with you some nuggets of the questions that I am sure Greg gets asked, sometimes non-verbally, and the same holds true for me. So for those of you watching us, if you are thinking about starting your journey to either sell your home because you're going to move, maybe you're going to move out of state, maybe you're moving because, hey, you got that dream job paying you bigger bucks, congratulations. And for those of you who are thinking about starting your journey as a first-time buyer, we'll keep it simple. And you're thinking, hey, I love this kind of real life humor. You guys are throwing back and forth. Well, guess what? You'll love us even more. Why? Because we can absolutely help you in your journey of getting you where you want to be as your next step. All you have to do, starting with Greg, always start with Greg, is scan his QR code so that he can engage you in a first chat, a consultation, and along the way, as a first-time buyer, unless you won the lottery, unless you inherited a big chunk of dough, and therefore you will need to borrow money, scan the QR code next to my headshot. Together, Greg and I will tag team to help you out as your real estate dream team. Music Posse, play us out. Greg, have a good night. I will see you in 4 weeks in the next live stream episode. Here we go.
Right. Sounds good, Bill. Thank you.